Coffee time with Dino and Ashley.
You're not in the bedroom with Dino and Ashley.
Well, they're not going to understand the
like
context
you were
of that.
last night. So
Oh, okay.
last night.
Now it's really getting weird.
Last night we had a dry run.
You're not making it any better.
Last night we were celebrating the house and that we were in contract, and the sun was too bright in here. We were trying to record a podcast. We thought, let's take it back old school. Let's do it back in the bedroom on the bed.
Good idea.
And Dino's like, let's get a bottle of champagne and
Yeah,
let's pop it.
We'll do a different kind of podcast, you know?
It was the worst podcast.
It was so bad.
We've ever recorded.
We had just kind of got into it. It wasn't even an argument. It was
a tiff.
It was so dumb.
Yeah.
Like the dumbest. There wasn't even anything to apologize because both of us were just basically like tired.
Tired, yeah.
But then we had argued, and then we were like, "Hey, let's record a podcast." And then
after a very long, stressful day,
yeah.
And then like the baby came in, so many things. So we finished it and we sent it off to Zach, our editor, and we were like, "We're so sorry. You're gonna have to cut so much. That was just awful." And the sound didn't record at all. So here we are again this morning.
Yeah, that was not meant to be.
And I'd like to introduce to you, it's me, Mario and Luigi.
You're going to take my joke and throw shade on me
you
with
can't
it? It's me, Blue Mario.
Tino got dressed this morning.
Man.
He's like, does this work? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, do I look like
Blue Mario?
Blue Mario?
I don't know what Blue Mario is, but I feel like this would be him. You know, him. United States.
That maybe. Was your grandpa's?
Yeah, my dad's dad gave me. Well, this was a hand-me-down
sentimental
from him.
today?
Sure. No, but I was like, yeah, I haven't worn this in a very long time. I thought it'd be fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into it. We are moving to Tennessee. If you missed it,
that's old news, but it's actually official.
So many people still say, "What? You're moving?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we just like drop the bomb though? Like, we're in contract?
Yes, we are in contract. But people online,
they already know that?
Yeah.
See, I don't know what the people know. What they don't know. I'm like, look at this huge piece of information.
Whoa.
It's like, no.
No, we are in contract for a piece of property in Tennessee. We bought 11.5 acres of land, and it has a house on it. So we were not expecting to find really anything this trip. We were just going to kind of scout out the area, see what we would maybe want.
It was a tentative, like, hey, let's dip our toe in.
Yes.
And then in true Dino and Ashley fashion, we're like, let's just head first off the cliff.
That's the same thing that happened when we moved here. We came out on vacation and we thought, we feel like the Lord's moving us here. We're going to move here. And instead of buying a house, we had seen a little inn on the side of the road, and we're like, oh, let's buy an inn instead. So we bought an inn while we were on vacation, and that's how we moved to Florida.
Yeah, the quick decision making so far hasn't necessarily blown up in our face. So
I don't know about that. But
so yeah, we went out, and the intent was just to do a quick fact finding mission. Scout out areas. And then I was adamant I really wanted to build. And Ash and I had been doing what we normally do, which is what we encourage everybody else to do. Dream about the characteristics of what you want your life to kind of look like. Oh, I want these types of things, or this would be nice. I want this kind of thing here, or, and it's aspirational and with a loose hand, right? Like that's the kind of thing that we encourage.
Talking about that dreaming thing, I think one thing that I've heard, you and I have discussed before, and I also heard our friends saying the same thing, is that for me, in order for me to dream fully and like envision myself there, I have to like put myself in that and
exactly.
get excited about it, but it is with a loose hand feeling, but I have to like really put myself in that situation. And there was a few months ago or whenever, I don't even know time right now, like a year ago, that we were talking about this, and you're like, I feel like if I talk to you about it, that I am going to get you too excited, and we're not going to we're going to put the cart before the horse sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to you.
Go ahead.
What?
No, I know that I know what you're going to say, but yeah, go ahead. I want to hear it.
Wait, what are you so hot? What is happening right now?
I know you.
Well, I'm saying that because I'm noticing that there's other people in our lives too that are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's a common theme to have to not want to dream together then, because one person is fearful that they're going to give the other person unrealistic expectations of like this reality that probably would
get their hopes up.
Get their hopes up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you and I just actually had a frank conversation about it. I said, "Hey, I'll like take my guard down because I feel like I have to be the brakes in this scenario. Yeah. I'll take my guard down and just blue sky this with you, but I don't want to be held like you can't say, "Oh, you said we were going to do this." Like I'll just blue sky it, and I think that that's an important thing to do.
Do you think that's a realistic conversation for
I think so. Couples? I think you should. I don't know if this is just us or everybody, but I think that you're right. A lot of other people have this similar type of problem in their marriage.
One is maybe a little more.
One's more gas, one is more brakes. And the brakes feels like they need to be the brakes because the gas is out of control. And if they don't, if they just let go, then the gas will just take them off the cliff kind of thing, you know?
So you feel I'm going to take off the cliff?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. I'm not saying we've gone off a cliff before, but I'm saying it's been close. All right.
That is not true.
I'm just kidding. But
not anymore.
No, I don't even think this is what we're about to do right now is the biggest cliff we've probably jumped off. And I'm like, yeah, let's send it. You know, I'm ready to rock. But I feel like, all right, so back to the vision thing, you and I allowed ourselves to just talk openly and say, let's see what a life would look like here. What's the day-to-day look like? It's funny. We did the same thing in this house when we got the Merc and the Merc was opening and we had to reset what's our day-to-day look like. And we just talked about it. And I think that's an important thing to do in marriage is just to be like, hey, can we just dream without any expectations? Just for a second, what would life look like here just for a sec? Let's try this on together. You know, I think that is important. But
I think it's important too to do in our marriages and then also just before the Lord, just to have that open-mindedness, because if it's like, we can't even hear or see the promptings that God's putting in front of us if we're so hard to anything new or to change, or we allow that fear to sit in.
Yeah, if you're set in your ways and you're closed-minded and narrow focused on things, you want to be.
Because if you have that fear, then you have no faith, and if you don't have faith, then you can't move forward in the things that God's putting in front of you.
Ooh, that's bold and accurate.
So
I completely agree.
You have to remove that.
Yeah.
So that you can even just is this something?
Yeah. You and I talked about this in last night's podcast that got deleted, but I feel like you and I in reading our word, we're actually just doing exactly that. We're saying, Lord, I want to posture myself while reading. Show me what it is that in my life that I have this firm grip on. And what should I have a little bit more of an open mindset on that you want to try and shift my perspective or mind, or what it is that we're going to do with our lives. Yeah. You know, to have a loose hand in that, I think is important.
We're in a situation right now where to us, we have the knowledge and understanding and the business mindset for a specific protocol in the way we would handle things. Yeah. But you especially have been feeling like God kind of stripping that away. And if you believe that I am setting this in front of you, then forget everything you know and go out in faith.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes God puts it on your heart and you should listen. And he'll say, hey, my ways are not your ways. You have to trust in this scenario. The things that make sense in your mind might not make sense in this scenario. Yeah. And I'm asking you just to take steps forward. And I think it's important to have your ear on the Lord and be able to say, hey, Lord, is this you prompting me? And I think a lot of times he'll prompt you in areas that are uncomfortable, so it's good for you to be aware of, hey, I feel this urge to go do this thing and I don't really want to go do that thing. If that's happening, I would highly recommend you saying, Lord, is this you? Are you speaking to me in here? Because I'll start to move in that direction. And I don't think there's anything wrong with taking steps in a direction and seeing if the Lord shuts a door or opens a door. I think that, a good analogy somebody else used is God can't can't use a parked car. You have to be moving in a given direction, and God will
But also he can do whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
But yes.
Well, yes. And aside from, well, he literally can do anything he wants. So I don't want to put it, say aside from, but what I was going to say is if you are hard-hearted and not cooperative, then you're not going to get used.
Yeah. We've been reading that so much. Like he will just give you over to the hardness of your heart.
Yeah. So yes, God can do anything. And whether you're going to get forced into something, but at the same time, I think that you'll lose out on the goodness and the best if you're just doing nothing.
I spoke with somebody yesterday that we were talking about the move, and they were telling me that they have an opportunity to move as well, which is interesting, even to the same area. And they were saying that it's like this amazing job opportunity. And I was like, you excited? And they said, you know, I am really comfortable right now. So I just like I'll do it, but I'm super comfortable right now, and I would like being comfortable. And I was like, ooh. It's time to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. Like 100%.
Comfortable is not where we change. It's not where we grow, and it's where we are like, why do I even need the Lord? Because I feel good and cozy. My little blankie. There's
a Bible verse, I think it's Proverb, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something along the lines of like a little rest, a little folding of the hands, a little slumber. It destroys a man. You know, there's nothing comfort will destroy you faster than anything ever.
I know.
And I think that you and I get little seasons of like rest, and I almost see it as I get overly comfortable in something, and man, I get really antsy.
I know.
Because I'm almost instinctually, I dislike that now at this phase.
Yeah.
But so all right, back to the house stuff.
We bought this amazing property, and we were not expecting to get a house. We really thought we were going to build, and we looked at a bunch of different spots, thought that one was it, but really tried to just be realistic and not romanticize anything. We're still doing that even though we're in contract right now. We're like, okay, so this is the reality of like the houses that could be built around us. And, you know, what is the day-to-day going to look like? We said that we wanted to build, so that's going to change like, you know, exactly like the certain characteristics. Are we good with that? Just going through all these things and being realistic about it, because we've done many projects, moved many times, had different houses, and we understand that, okay, like even the thought of, oh, I have to be by this specific town because this is the popular town and this is so cute. But we've even done that too, where we've romanticized, you know, an area, thinking that if I lived there, I'd be happiest there because there's these things there. But those things fade away after a few months, you know?
Yeah.
It can't be just because you like, you know, a certain coffee shop or a store or a friend lives down the street.
Yeah.
So just trying to be really realistic in those things so that we are not, you know, I guess not surprised, but there'll be surprises. There's always surprises.
Yeah.
But just trying to be real about it. So we ended up in an area that we know nobody.
Yeah.
It's a totally new area to us. But this property is amazing. It's so beautiful. And the house, again, we weren't expecting to do a house because we really wanted to make a house our own, but the house is exactly how we would have laid out a house.
Ash and I had dreamed, and we had talked about a house that was single story and kind of compartmentalized. And the idea was like one compartment for the main living space, one compartment with a like long hallway or something like that to our bedroom area, and then another one for the kids kind of area. That was like this vision for this house that we had kind of said. But if you start to break it down, what we were really saying is that private area for you and I, and then a large area for living space, and then a set area for kid stuff. And this house fits that criteria. It's just not what I had kind of initially envisioned on it. And you and I had said, hey, if we were ever going to live on a slope, it'd be kind of cool if the house was structured like this. And this house is
structured like that.
Yeah.
So from the photos and the video, so we're going to go in a couple of days and go back after the inspections were already done. We're going to go back and see the property. And so we'll show you guys. But from the photos and videos, it looks really nice because they've put a fresh coat of paint on it, and everything looks amazing when it's painted white. But it's a fixer-upper. It's from the 1990s. They've done some, like Home Depot faucets and light fixtures and stuff, which is great. But we're building and going to be doing.
Well, we're gonna get hated on because are gonna call it a fixer and a tear down, and somebody else will look at this place and be like,
people
this
already
is brand
said
new.
that, and I honestly just don't care. With all due respect, I don't.
With all due respect, I
don't care. It is our house, and we are going to do what we want to do.
I know.
What we have been chomping at the bit.
It's just funny. Like, people are going to always put us in a box. When we're in the trailer and then move into a small house, they're like, wait, aren't you these types of people? It's like, we're never going to be any types of people. We're always going to be changing it up and doing crazy stuff. But with this house, it has
the perfect bone structure for us to gut the inside and just completely customize it.
Yeah, and we've worked our butts off for a really long time, and we're now moving from a house in a more high priced area to a less priced area, so we can take some of the equity that we've acquired up until now and then do what we want to make that house kind of something.
And we're gonna have no mortgage. It's gonna be amazing.
So that's one of the cool things.
Farmland.
Yeah, and Ash says that kind of like, whoa, they're talking about money. We've already done a bunch of podcasts on our finances. We're pretty much an open book for the most part with our finances, because we feel like it's important that we share with other people what hasn't been shared with us, right? Yeah. So if you're curious about finances, there's a 4-part kind of thing that you can go back, and it's kind of fun. It's
just
told
to
in the
see
form of a story.
How we started and to where we are now,
yeah.
And the things that we've done. It's easy for people to just see somebody online or read about us in our book or whatever, or watch us on here and just be like, oh, well, it must be nice for them, sort of thing.
But we were in a trailer and had $0 7 years ago, and now we're at a point after being on the grind and doing a lot of buys and sells and shuffling of things, and we're at a spot now where if everything goes right, then we might actually be mortgage free. So I think it's cool to be able to look at our story and see how we got to where we're at, not just be like, oh, must be nice kind of thing.
Yeah.
In any case.
But I cannot wait. So our plan is to go there and then really get a plan. We're going to close June 6th, I believe, on the house, right?
Yeah.
So we will just be getting back from Europe. We're going to go to Europe for the whole month of May. We'll just be getting back. So in the meantime, we're going to go out and I'm going to measure out the windows, kind of make a plan, because the whole has these incredible views of just this valley area, and we want to just do the whole back of the house in windows. And Dino really wants pocket doors. We're discussing. So the whole back of the house has views and windows, and they're old though, which they've been painted white, so they look nice. But we're gonna rip out all the windows, redo the windows, rip out the whole kitchen, make the kitchen really cool. And I can't really remember all the things about it.
So the house is broken up into what I would say is 4 big functional pieces. There's the upstairs on the 3rd floor, which is all just kid area. I don't remember any of this.
We'll just go and do a tour when we get there.
But then there's the main house, which has some interesting fun parts, because there's one area that was kitchen, dining room, family room, and then kind of smaller windows. That whole area is going to turn into blank slate, which is they just finished remodeling that kitchen.
Well, they touched it up.
Yeah, they did new countertops, quartz and stuff, and then did a Home Depot fridge. They took the cabinets off, painted them, put them back. So
but
yes,
when we were in there, the cabinets were falling off of the doors were falling off of the thing.
It was a quickie remodel, and we're looking to do hey, what if this was basically a high-end house, that kind of vibe,
oh my gosh, I'm getting so excited.
So and to be clear, just again, talk to the investment side of things. This is the house I'm envisioning we'll live in forever, but I've said that many a times now. But that's the idea. And if we're going to do that, then okay, what are all the things that we would want? And also, maybe it's not a forever. I always look at this from I steal this terminology from Eric, but you always want multiple exit strategies. So when I'm looking at a property like this, yes, it's my forever house, but at the same time, what if I have to get out of it? What if I have to sell it? And if I bought it for this much and put this amount of investment into it, what are comps in the area to see if I could sell this, what it would look like at a high-end kind of house? So we're just to give exposure on how we think. there's aspects of this buy that are also, in a worst case scenario, I'm okay. It's a good investment.
Yeah.
You know? Kitchen all gone, all glass.
Also, when we're designing, specifically me, I'm never designing for somebody else when we're living in a house.
Yeah.
I'm never thinking, oh, well, this will do well if we sell this, because we're living there. So everything is poured into it that would be for us and how we would do it if it were to be our forever house. So it makes it feel, that's what makes a house feel like ours. And not like we're making it for someone else.
Yeah, 100%. It's not just like, oh, I'll make a bunch of quick decisions based on this place, that it'll be some spec house kind of thing. It's actually like, the decisions were made by a person who wants it to be a homey type scenario, right?
Yeah. So then there's also a separate garage area so there's a garage attached to it, but then there's this huge barn garage that is empty and a blank slate. And I'm going to make into either a big single guest house cottage or 2 cottages, like split in half. And then there's land.
Because we don't have enough space.
I know, but we need, I think about if it is forever or for some years that, once Gabe gets married, then he can come back and, you and I would like love that.
Homestead?
Yeah. Well, no. Not live there. Heck no. He has a spot where they have like their own space.
Yeah.
You and I would die for that.
I would have killed for it. My own little private area when visiting family. Yes, that would have been amazing.
You don't want to be in the same
100%.
house?
No, I do not want to be in the same house. I like my own little private area.
I know.
But all right, so back to the house. There's some cool stuff about it too. The main floor is living space, and then Ash and my little quarter, our little section
and we have
of
a podcast room.
So this was funny. We said when we were going to build a place, we wanted a hallway with our private area that had our bedroom, bathroom, and we said we wanted a podcast room. This literally has that exact setup.
It's kind of crazy how it has like everything in it.
And double door.
Double door forever.
I'm so excited. Can we bring that one?
I know. I don't think so.
No?
No.
Just have Dan. Oh, Dan move it.
Strap it on to the moving truck. Let's go.
But yeah, the house. Okay, and then one of the other cool things about the house is it has 2,000 square foot of unfinished basement that is a walkout basement that you walk out into the pool area.
Okay, there's a pool.
So the basement's just all concrete and studs, which means that I get a gym.
It's huge. It's 2,000 square feet. Did you say that?
I did
the basement. It's huge. It has a fireplace coming down into it. I can't wait to go back to this house. I hope we are thinking, remembering the house correctly. We were only in it for 15 minutes.
Completely romanticizing this, and it's going to be like, what did we do?
What do we do? There's walls coming in, and no, it's going to be great. And yeah, I'm excited. So another big thought was, Gabe is almost 16, and we did see a piece of land that we really, really loved too. And we were thinking maybe that was going to be it the day before we saw this one.
Really, really loved.
And it was, everything about it was amazing. But the price was higher. The build would be way more expensive. The timeline would be forever. And so that was kind of in the backs of our minds. Do we want to get more? Do we want to be debt free, or do we want to have build this dream house sort of thing and then be strapped? And I don't want to do that.
No. When we look, no, I really don't. I really, really don't. Well, the idea is, could we have, when you and I were dreaming, we said all the characteristics. This has 99% of the things that I wanted.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing checkbox. And
Gabe could live in it now.
We get it now. Well, pretty close to now. Obviously, we have to redo our remodel, and we'll see if we're going to live in it like we have in times past.
That's another thing we have to decide. If we're going to live in it or if we're going to rent something close by. We have to decide that. So we have a month and a half.
I don't know if I could do another live in the house and then only have my barbecue and a sink for 6 months.
Yeah. Mario.
It's
me. Mario.
The non-cook.
I know. We can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'll be your cheerleader. Make those eggs. Do the pancakes.
Oh, my goodness. In any case, we'll have to figure that part of it out. But, yes, we probably could be in it by Christmas time. Famous last words. I shouldn't say that. That is.
You heard it here first, guys.
That is not going to happen now, and it'll be next Christmas, basically, a year and a half from now. I just jinxed the whole situation. No, but Gabe could be in it. It could be something we could just enjoy right now. not do this whole chaotic build a house 2-year thing.
Yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to show you guys. We'll, like I said, we'll share it on Instagram in the next couple days when we go out. And then as far as businesses go and what we're going to do there, we love the area that we're buying in, and we'll see what happens. We're really just feeling like one step at a time, and we're praying about everything. We have no plan and idea of really what we're doing, but we know that God's doing something there. So we're just kind of going one step at a time, open-handed with it.
As we get closer, you and I have been talking about, oh, what if we dabbled in this business? Mm-hmm. Or what if this opportunity came up? Or, and we just kind of start the seeds of like what ifs a little bit, just play with stuff, you know?
Which again, it's the same thing with the dreaming thing with the houses and just being open.
Yeah.
We have zero expectations of what we're doing. We have an idea right now of what we're doing with the mercantile. And so we have that, and we're kind of just taking that into consideration with what's going forward. But it's really fun just to be inside of God's plans and watch to see him. When you live life like this and you take these steps forward, and I've made up things in my head that I think could happen, or that like I think God could do, sort of thing. And then it's just really cool to see him do what he's going to do. Yeah. And it's even more awesome and better. Yeah. I didn't expect us to find 11 and a half acres with a house that's set up exactly that we'd want, and we would end up being mortgage free. Yeah. That was not in my mind.
No.
I thought, oh, we'll probably find something that we'll have to build on. Or even if there was a house, we'd still probably build a house because it probably wouldn't be right, and we would be in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is beyond a dream for me. Like it's better than I could have. That's the whole thing. If you let God kind of mold and guide your path on things like this, it's cool. He'll show up and do amazing stuff like this.
Yeah.
This is better than I would have imagined.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm telling myself. And again, we're going to go back and see the house. And
stay tuned for the reality check when we go in a couple of days. So we have to go back before we go to Europe, so we can like make sure that everything's good during the inspection period.
Yeah.
And we'll fly back. So we were there. It was beautiful, sunny. Everything's green because it just rained. We'll go back and it'll be like brown and cloudy. And no, it's good. Again, we try to think inside of reality and not romanticize even the weather. We know that can play a part into.
Like, it will be dark there. It'll be cold there. It's going to be different. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, let's try a new life out and be okay with whatever it is. Because I feel like you and I learned our lesson really quick when we moved into the trailer, that if you have too high of expectations on something, things go really poorly. And if you have low expectations and go into something with a positive mindset and this attitude of what's the fun things that I can get out of this, then you can get a huge amount of joy, growth out of. We moved into a trailer and we were really hesitant after a year and a half to even leave that. We didn't want to leave that. We were happy and content doing that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense.
I think that the heart posture has to be not setting expectations and that sort of thing, but being expectant on the Lord and what He's doing.
Yeah.
Not on the trailer, not on the situation, not on us moving here, not on living here, all the things that we've done, but it's just to be expectant on the Lord. Then I don't care what happens.
Yeah. There's a couple things that I would really love to ask a favor for. We don't ever do this, but I would love to ask a favor for some people like listening. If we could have people just praying for us, that'd be really beneficial, I think. Okay. And just for the Lord to continue to give us wisdom and discernment on the direction we're to be going. I would love, I don't want to be overly presumptuous and ask for specifics of, Lord, please sell our house. That would be a delight for me and my perspective. But the way I kind of am wanting this to be approached is, Lord, if it would give you glory, if it's inside your plan of what could be amazing in our life, and I'm not putting my own assumptions on this, Lord, would you please sell our home? And if people would just be praying for us on the direction, that type of thing, just pray for us. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, so. I love that. So we've been told that we have to ask people to like and subscribe. I don't even know how to say it.
Oh, look at you. You're being such a good YouTuber.
Like and subscribe, and make sure if there's anything you want to say, you can comment.
Oh, man.
Ding.
All right. Next week, we're going to also do a podcast. Ash and I have been talking a lot about affection and what that means from a biblical perspective, and what we are owed to, and not owed, sorry, what we owe each other, like what I owe you, and what our responsibilities are from a marital perspective when it comes to the word affection. And that, I think that would be a fun little podcast.
Yeah, this has been something that we read, and then I talked about it at my Bible study group, and then Dino and I were talking about it. We've been praying about it, and just a really fun and interesting topic that we thought would be good to dive into. So we're going to do that next week. We're not going to record podcasts at the end of the day anymore.
Please don't make me do that.
In our bed with champagne.
Although the second half of the podcast actually got really fun.
Because the champagne kicked in.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Well, we'll see you in Tennessee.